Hey everyone, and welcome back to another portfolio update. Over the past week, the portfolio went up by 0.65%, whereas the S&P 500 was up 1.7%. Year to date, the portfolio is up 19.63%, whereas the S&P 500 is up 6.7%. And since the start of the portfolio, we are up over 90%, whereas the S&P is up 25.88%. I want to discuss a couple of positions in the portfolio today, as well as the upcoming tariff deadline, Max Verstappen being the GOAT. Oh, wait, no, wrong video. More tariff information, rate cut probabilities, Elon Musk starting another political party because I guess why not? And then some more macro data that you might enjoy. All of that in this video. All right, so quick portfolio overview. Not much has changed. Yes, there are two small positions that have been added. I think I spoke about it already throughout the week. So we've got two new healthcare players in the portfolio, Oscar Health and United Health. Now, Oscar Health, I bought it when it crashed, was down 20% on the day. I thought, you know what? I missed the opportunity the first time after I made the initial video. It went up over 40% over the next couple of days. So yes, I bought it. I am already down 6.79%. It's just 1% of the portfolio right now. I do want to increase it a little bit. With regards to United Health, I am up just 2.7%, but here as well, only a 1% position in the portfolio. Both of those positions are not meant for long term. Okay, these are, in my opinion, just swing trades, although I do expect to hold them at least the next couple of months. So it's not a daily trade or something like that. And yes, you take the tax hit, but I'm doing this not because I think I can make 10% or so. I think I can make, especially with United Health. But the crucial thing here, I think I can make 50% on that position. The crucial thing here is, of course, the upcoming earnings report and earnings call, where the CEO will give us basically more information on the situation at the company and provide us with guidance. That will happen at the end of July 29th. With regards to Oscar, here we'll see. I'll definitely keep it until the upcoming earnings report, where also we'll get way more information, especially from management talking about, the bill that just passed and how that will impact the business and maybe if their 2027 targets have changed or not. So that's why I'm keeping it quite small in this portfolio. You might say, oh yeah, but even if it goes up 50%, what impact will it have on the portfolio? Okay, might not have a gigantic impact on the portfolio, but it will definitely help me increase my cash position without me having to inject more cash in the portfolio in the short run, right? If I can make 50% of 3K, 5K, still money, right? That's still $1.5 to $2.5 thousand that I can put in the cash pile. For some, it might seem peanuts, but I still value money, so I guess it makes sense, right? Of course, it can also not work out, but that's the risk I'm taking here. As for the rest, nothing much has changed, right? The top is still the same here. SoFi number 1, PayPal 2, Google Alphabet number 3. Then we have actually Rocket Lab number 4 now, because it is at $35.66, up 515% on that position. Micron, then we have Uber, I mean, very happy with that position. AMD, Advanced Money Destroyer, turned into another money doubler or something like that. We're up now here 31% on that position. Nebius already more than doubled my position, which again, I would have loved it to go back down to the lower 40s now. We'll see what happens. That's part of the discussion when we're going to go over the tariff talk. And then the rest here, I mean, Intel, I'm still down. Meta, I'm doing fine. All the rest is basically fine. Alibaba is something that I will probably keep adding. If we stay even at this price and I raise enough cash in the next couple of weeks or so, I think I will definitely be adding more to Alibaba because, I just think it's another one of those no-brainers if you don't mind the exposure to China. Then a big move for this portfolio, because as you know, I have this portfolio, which is the public one, and I have the core portfolio, which basically all of the big companies, right? I have Amazon, Meta, Tesla, Mercado Libre, Alphabet. Those basically make up close to 90% of the portfolio. Yeah, I even have some PayPal there as well. But in this portfolio, as you can see, I am planning on selling all of my Tesla position in this portfolio. So the reason behind this is as follows. Tesla is still part of my core portfolio, and so I see no reason to risk more capital in the public portfolio, seeing that I'm still up 68% on that position. This will increase my cash position going into July 9th, so I could be more aggressive in case of a crash. So this position, of course, is, well, a position that's a year and a half old or something like that. And being up 68%, I think is good enough for a company that I already have in my core portfolio, well, since 2019. So I only added it here again because, again, performance-wise, it did quite well. Now it will just increase my cash position. The position I have in my core portfolio remains untouched. And, well, I already took profits throughout the years. It's close to being just house money at the moment. So I don't really care what happens. Well, I don't really care. I hope it increases, of course. And I do think it will increase over time. But in this portfolio, I think the smart thing right now for me personally, is to just, well, sell it at a huge profit, put it in the cash pile, and then deploy accordingly if I get the chance, of course. Right? We might get to July 9th and nothing changes. Could happen. But if we do happen to have the same scenario as early April or close to it, then I'd be very happy to have quite a big cash pile. Talking about Tesla, it's been a while actually since I've done this. The last Tesla China weekly insured number came in at 20,680. Extremely strong week for Tesla in China, also much better than the same week last year. And so we closed out here Q2 at 130,297 approximately. Of course, over the past couple of weeks, we've actually rebounded from the lowest point. Well, not lowest, but a very weak week here. A couple of weeks ago, 8,637. Then we had 15,500, 13,850. And then the last week was 20,680. So pretty strong there. As for the wholesale numbers, here, let me remove myself. We've got first up production for May, 61,585. As for wholesale, that came in at 61,662, split between retail and export, 38,588, and then exported just over 23,000. Now that's not all. In June, apparently, Tesla had its best sales month so far this year in the following country. United Kingdom has been having, well, United Kingdom in continental Europe is not the biggest market for Tesla, and actually has been for a while now, surpassing France and Germany. But in June, all of these countries here had their best month of the year. Now, of course, you might say, yeah, obviously, since all the rest were extremely weak. And I'd say you are correct, right? Last quarter, we had that Model Y refresh, of course, had a big political hit, let's be honest here. But it seems like things are picking up again, especially, I mean, if you look at that number in the United Kingdom, that's a pretty strong number. So yeah, it might also be the biggest impact just being a Model Y refresh, right? The fact that the best-selling car in 2023, 2024 getting refreshed, yes, it does have an impact for sure. So, I mean, even with the production and delivery numbers that we've got, right, over the past week, remember, the stock actually jumped on the day. Why? Because it was better than feared. I guess better than feared has been the theme for the last couple of months, not just for Tesla, but for macro data as well. Speaking of macro, Trump says tariff letters to 12 countries have been signed and they're going out on a Monday. So that period, the period of the extension, ends on July 9th, although Trump early on Friday said the tariffs could be even higher, ranging up to 70%, with most set to go into effect August 1st. He said, I signed some letters and they'll go out on Monday, probably 12. Different amounts of money, different amounts of tariffs. Trump and its top aides initially said they would launch negotiations with scores of countries on tariff rates. But the US president has started on that process after repeated setbacks with major trading partners, including Japan and the European Union. So we go into the next one here. Trump's tariff deadline is looming for Europe. Here's where things stand. So should the trading partners fail to reach an agreement by July 9th, when a 90-day reprieve on US President Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs ends, EU goods imported to the United States could be hit by duties of up to 50%. Retaliatory measures from the EU targeting a wide range of US goods, which have also been temporarily put on hold, could then follow shortly afterwards. The US-EU trade relationship is one of the most important in the world, accounting for around 30% of global goods trading according to European Council. Medicinal and pharma products, road vehicles, and petroleum products are some of the top traded goods. US and EU negotiations have appeared to be difficult and slow to gain ground. Sources told CNBC earlier this week that a bare-bones political deal that is light on details may be the EU's best hope. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen seemed to echo the view on Thursday. She said, "What we are aiming at is an agreement in principle," adding that a detailed agreement was impossible to reach during the 90-day reprieve. Von der Leyen also reiterated that if no agreement is reached, all the instruments are on the table. European Trade Commissioner Maros Sefcovic meanwhile said in a social media post on Friday that he had a productive week in Washington, D.C., meeting various US officials. "The work continues, our goal remains unchanged, a good and ambitious transatlantic trade deal." US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent seemed more hesitant about the odds of a trade agreement being struck before the deadline. "We'll see what we can do with the European Union," he said on Thursday. Now that's quite interesting because I remember not so long ago they said they were going to announce quite a lot of deals. Now, of course, we still have a couple of days left, not much, because if the 12 letters are going out on Monday is July 7th, which means they'll have 2 days. And 2 days to reach an agreement, or let's say just a headline agreement. Basically, okay, we agree to XYZ, but give us more time to make sure that we have all of the details ready to announce the huge deal. Okay, could potentially happen. But yeah, remains to be seen. We also don't know. We will only know on Monday who are the 12 countries. It would probably be the European Union, right? Or some countries in the European Union, although I think the European Union acts as one in this case. You probably have Japan, India, South Korea maybe as well, probably Canada, maybe some, I don't know. That's already 5. If you have any ideas, let me know down in the comment section below. Moving on to the rate cuts probabilities for the July meeting. As you can see, the probability of a cut stands at 4.7% at the moment. Now, as you can see, a week ago, the probability of a cut in the July meeting was 18.6%. A month ago, that was 30.4%. That's for the July meeting. What about the September one? Well, in the September one, we still have a 66.2% probability that we're going to get a cut, but that is down from the 74% just a week ago, but up from the 54.3% a month ago. So I guess, if we go and look at the December meeting, we still have around the same probability, I guess, for 2 rate cuts to happen this year. Now, I still think we're going to get 2 rate cuts regardless. Of course, the Fed is saying, if there were no tariffs, we would have cut already. Well, so far, even with the tariffs, I don't see, especially with the data that we've got over the past couple of months, I don't really see it yet having such a negative impact at the moment. Of course, that can change over the next couple of months, for sure. Then quickly touching on Elon Musk starting a new party in the United States called the America Party. So he said the following on X: "By a factor of 2 to 1, you want a new political party and you shall have it." So this is basically, his reaction to a poll he made on X, the platform that he owns, and a poll that, of course, the whole world can vote on. Not just the whole world, but also plenty of bots. So no, by a factor of 2 to 1, no, by a factor of tens of thousands of bots to maybe some Americans, this is the result of the poll. To me, this makes 0 sense, and good luck to him. I mean, he did try other crazy things and that turned out to work out. So I guess a political party here, you can add it to the Elon Musk here as well. What will that do with Tesla's business and Tesla's stock? Remains to be seen, but I think the most important part here is, I guess, the future of the United States and the deficit. Moving on to some interesting data. So it wasn't that long ago that we were here. Extreme fear, and now we are here in the extreme greed. And it comes at no surprise, right? We've been talking about that now for the last couple of years. There aren't that many incredible ideas at the moment. There are certainly quite a lot of stocks that are overbought, overvalued, and extremely expensive at the moment. That doesn't mean that there are no investments worthy of your money or my money at the moment. I actually made a specific video about that over the past couple of days, right? An Alphabet, in my eyes, still investable. A PayPal, still investable. Alibaba, still investable. The list goes on and on and on. I'm sure you can name quite a lot of names as well. But this is now happening, of course, just before that July 9 deadline. And of course, we've seen also with plenty of stocks that are overbought, and some of their patterns on a technical basis are quite bearish. And of course, we don't have a crystal ball and all, but the timing could be perfect for a little correction. Anyways, moving on, so some better news. As you can see, coffee has been crashing down. So for all of us coffee lovers, this is great news. This is the crash we wanted to see. Crash in coffee prices. Wonderful. Moving on here to, well, another positive news, I guess, because as you can see, since 2015, July has been a green month. Could we see a green month again? Maybe, maybe not. So far we are green. So let's keep it up. Looking at the US dollar, asset managers are almost record short the US dollar according to the COT report. I mean, me as a European who has euros, of course, I like it because that means that my euros can just buy more dollars, which means that I can buy more US shares. Now, on the flip side, if you own a lot of US shares and you want to sell and then convert back to euro, of course, you are on the losing end. Well, that's why you don't want to sell and convert back to euros. Looking at a very interesting case, right, where the Nasdaq 100, after it rallies from minus 20% to a 1-year high within 3 months, this is what has happened before, right? Of course, this is not a lot of data to work with, but always good to see. And as you can see, the further down we go, the better our odds, right? Green across the board. Now, what has happened with the S&P 500 after it was down 18% and then went to a 1-year high within 3 months? Here, as well, green across the board the further out you go, but we do see a little bit more red in the shorter term. Although, I mean, if you look at the dates here, especially the one with a lot of red, that's basically 2009. I mean, just after the great financial crisis. Of course, we were, I think, quite close to the bottom back then. And then, yeah, after that, we are a green. Moving on to the next point here, and this is one where we have quite a lot of data. As you can clearly see, this is what has happened with the S&P 500 after it forms a golden cross. As you can see here, the odds might not be as good as the other ones, but we're still above 50% besides one, right? 1 month later here on average, 48% of the time we were positive, but on average, we were up 1.24%. Then for the rest here, again, the further out we go, the better our odds, and on average, the more we're going to be up. Even a week later, on average, we were up 0.38%, and only 56% of the time we were green. So again, quite good, but the situation this time might be different. And that's, of course, the interesting thing here about investing, right? Just because it happened in the past does not mean it will happen again right now. Yes, a lot of the times things that happened in the past will happen again today when it's connected to, well, human nature, because human nature just doesn't really change that much. But when you have to take into consideration trade deals, geopolitical issues, maybe weather patterns or whatever, right? Tragedies or whatnot, then yeah, things can change, right? Things can be different. In the end, what's the most important? It's very simple. Invest in good business performs well, stock will go up in the long run. That's it. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy. I agree. So anyways, that's about it right now. My game plan, as you know, is increase the cash position because I am going to sell the position of Tesla in the public portfolio. That's going to increase the cash position quite significantly. We'll go into July 9th with a lot more cash, which means I'll sleep better at night, although I never really sleep that good. If you have any tips to sleep better, do let me know down in the comment section below. But I'll have more cash to deploy in case we have a big pullback. You know probably where I'll add that cash. If I get the pullback, it's probably going to be in Alibaba, in Nebius if we have a big enough pullback for sure. And then I'll sprinkle some cash around depending on how big of a hit the other positions are going to get. And maybe even in the lower ones, right? The United Health and the Oscar, to make it a tiny bit bigger, but not too big, so the hit does not become, well, a disaster if it doesn't work out. So all in all, that's about it for me in this video. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below, like, subscribe, do all of that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.